Hi, I'm Sebastiaan. I work at Umbraco. It's a nice company. They make a CMS, open source. It's great. You should use it. I am my new titles as of Code Garden this year is head of PR. I am wearing I've even tucked in my shirt. Public relations is not my thing though. Pull requests, that's what I do most of the day. I'm also known as the Chief Tinfoil Hat Officer. Anything security related, I enjoy working on that, and I enjoy, together with Jeffrey, I enjoy scaring the shit out of you about your sites. Who has not updated their client dependency DLLs yet since the last announcement? Your site's gonna get hacked. James, I am gonna get you tomorrow. Cool. We've already established that I'm being cheesy already, so that's great. Is anyone allergic to 80s music? If yeah, then you should leave now because there's going to be a bit of it. So yes, this is what this presentation is about: getting our heads around building Umbraco together as a community. Why? Well, so there's a few whys. There's a few whys as to why you should contribute to Umbraco, or you would want to contribute to Umbraco. Spoiler alert: it's all selfish reasons, and that's great. For us, it's nice if you contribute to Umbraco. For another couple of reasons. So. Just a few stats. So since Code Garden, we've had Umbraco 7.11 and 12 released, and 7.13 is coming up really soon, next few weeks, hopefully. Almost exclusively created by all of you. Who's done a pull request for Umbraco before? Okay, so you've all made Umbraco the way it is in the past few months. It's great. This means that the rest of the CMS team can concentrate on this thing called, I don't know if you've heard of it, V8. Apparently it's a real thing. We're doing courses now next year, so it might actually come out at some point. So that we've been taking a lot of the work out of looking at pull requests and other contributions by actually concentrating it for one person and a few other people from the community. This also means that you now have the power, like you've always had, but we're actually now responding, the power to make Umbraco better. And people are actually doing that, luckily in droves, and I'm loving it. You're all keeping me in a job, so that's great. Statistics, this is the number of pull requests coming in versus, and that's the purple one is coming in, versus closed or merged, and that's the blue ones. As we can see since last year, there's not only a growing trend, which started basically at Code Garden this year, because people are like, yes, there's someone actually responsible for this now, and we're actually going to get responses. Then, you know, of course, the Code Garden excitement gets a little bit lower, and then magically we have this huge bar here where we've broken all the records this last month for something called Hacktoberfest. I have more numbers later. Now that we actually have someone responsible for making sure that pull requests get the attention that they deserve, I've been tracking how many of them come in and actually get closed or merged after Code Garden. So we like it when this pink line there is really low. So we're in October, we've gone up a little bit because it's been too much. A victim of my own success, I guess. And you can see the blue line, all of the created pull requests in October coming in. So we're actually not doing too bad. This has actually all been dealt with, so that's really great. I love this chart, mostly because there's Batman in the middle. The other part of this chart is the last bit of it here. The peak there is 176 open pull requests not dealt with whatsoever just before Code Garden, or just after Code Garden this was. And we've been steadily chipping away at all of the pull requests that are still open. And we've gone down and a little bit up in October, but we'll have to make this number go down even more. Hopefully down to where it was like maybe 10 open in a month. That would be great. So we're doing a great job. I'm patting myself on the chest now. I'm doing a great job. I'm not doing it alone though, so we have some help. So good news, we've kept up with pull requests since Code Garden. Mostly, October is a bit harder, but that's fine. PR team, we have some volunteers, which for CMS is Anders, Dave, Emma, and Purnima. They're helping me doing the initial triage of anything coming in, which has been extremely helpful. I'll talk about this later a little bit more, but it's been really nice. Not only, if we look at this one again, when the blue lines are higher than the purple lines, that means we did more than what came in. That means we're actually also dealing with all the old pull requests that are still open. Who still has an old pull request open for older than a year? We've dealt with all of them, great! Pete must have one open still. Several. So we're actually making the old ones go away as well, and a lot of them are still, surprisingly, they're still pretty valuable, and we're not actually going. That doesn't work anymore. So we actually need to do some hard work to get them in, but that's still awesome. Oktoberfest, as I said, just finished. We had for CMS 162 incoming pull requests. That included about 20 of them changing a comma in a README file, but that's also great. At least people have looked at Umbraco, they've looked at the source code, have tried to do stuff with it. Together with the documentation team, we have another four or five people working on documentation and pull requests there. In total, we've managed to get in 336 pull requests this month in just 1 month, which is insane. Last month, or the month before, was 42 pull requests, so very good. I think we've closed or merged about 95% of them now, so we've been busy. New issue tracker. Who remembers the old issue tracker? Who hates the old issue tracker? Right, so moving the issue tracker over to GitHub has helped a lot, and I'm now currently, for the next few weeks, months, going to work on responsiveness on issue tracker as well. So that means that we do kind of the same thing as for PRs, where we actually have an initial response saying thank you, we'll try and reproduce this issue, and actually follow through on open issues. That means that all your old forms issues will finally, at some point, get addressed. I didn't say they would get fixed, but they will get addressed. So we'll have a nice process for that in place very soon, so that we actually don't have that many things piling up all the time. Yesterday, who was at the hackathon yesterday? Thank you very much. 20 new pull requests coming in, so I have some work to do on the weekend as well, which is great. Yep. So that's what's in it for us. You're all making our product better, and you're doing free work. Sweet. Free work, we love it, but you're not just doing this out of the goodness of your own heart. You're mostly doing this because you're selfish, and that's great. So my first pull request for Umbraco was, can't remember exactly, but I think in 2010. We were still on Codeplex. Who remembers Codeplex? Who loves Codeplex? It was interesting, let's say that. We didn't even use Git at the time. I think it was even before we used Mercurial, so it was some kind of weird TFS kind of thing. It was amazingly weird. I had been bothered with this bug, that was in there since forever, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try and fix this now, because it's just stupid. So I opened the source code. It took me about 3 days to get it to build, which was great. So that was the first thing I asked people, can we please have this build batch file so that actually does everything for you? That took a year for it to be accepted somewhere. Then I sent the pull request, or it was a patch file at the time, I think. And you got the response that most of you might have been seeing for the past few years. Thanks, and then nothing for months. So we're trying to improve that and help you out. what does this mean for you? Well, you get to fix Umbraco, and that's fun for us, but it's mostly fun for you because you work with this stuff all day, and you want it to be nice and working, and not embarrass you in front of your clients saying, oh yeah, that's a thing in Umbraco that's broken, yeah, can't get it fixed. So that's what's in it for you. You learn a lot from our interesting code base. So code base is about like 12 years old now, and it's been ongoing. We've been fixing it and making it better. So you'll see a lot of different things going on, which is interesting. For me, the first thing I saw when I opened the code base back in 2010 was okay, this kind of looks like my code, and I'm not that good at this stuff. So I guess if Niels can do it, I can do this as well. So yeah, it kind of worked. I still don't know what I'm doing, by the way. But I have Shannon for that, so that's great. Yep, so you learn a lot from our weird code base. There's a lot of good stuff in there as well now these days, so that's great. You get some experience of actually contributing to open source projects. I've since branched out to other open source projects where I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally fix this, or I can help fix this at least. And that's been fun. I've been working on Let's Encrypt stuff for a while. And one of the libraries out there was, in my opinion, slightly broken. So I've tried to help fix it and get that going again. Got a few good pull requests in there, and it was kind of like an amazing experience because I haven't done it for a while. And getting a pull request accepted is actually like, someone values my work. That's really great. So, which leads me to fun. It actually is quite a lot of fun to actually discover what things are doing. It is, to me, I'm a nerd. It's amazingly fun to finally find that little line of code where it's like, oh yeah, that's obviously wrong. This needs to change. Yes, great. Gives you karma. Maybe not so much on our anymore, but karma in real life. I know you, you know me. We've talked to each other about this pull request. Someone came up to me earlier, said, "You accepted my pull request. Is he here?" I can't see him right now. And that's great. Good karma all over the place. Benefits your career. It's kind of like an open CV. Look, this is what I've been doing. This is how I code. This is the stuff I've been contributing to other code bases. So it's actually quite nice to be able to prove that you know what you're doing sometimes, most of the time. Yeah, and together we make the world a better place, of course. I mean, if Umbraco is better, then it's better for you, for the client. You get to spend your time on the nicer things in life, and don't have to worry about all those silly bugs that we give you all the time. So, with that, I'll be talking mostly about code contributions in a few minutes, but there is other types of contributions that you can also make, which we love. Maybe not like this. Some guy on Twitter, this is 6 years ago, some guy on Twitter, which monkey decided to use an int identity column for the node ID in Umbraco? All content items should be unique, i.e. a GUID, major fail. Is Dan in the room by any chance? Because else I'll need to stop here. Okay. So this was a few years ago, and we were friendly, but not entirely friendly. So Niels replies, "I'll be in London on Friday. Feel free to call me a monkey face to face. I might kick you in the balls in return, hard." So maybe our feedback is also not perfect. Strangely, though, he seemed to enjoy that. I'm busy Friday night. Damn, could have done with a kick in the balls to get the weekend rolling. All right. We're trying not to do that anymore either. So, what can you actually do? Bug reports in a slightly nicer format. You can complain all you want. That's absolutely fine, and most of the times justified. Just make sure to make it constructive, and please, please, please give me reproduction steps so I can actually click the thing that you clicked and actually make sure that it happens again. Even nicer would be if you can actually try and reproduce it on either a clean install or at least tell us that you're working on Umbraco 7.10, so it's probably also broken in 7.12, but you're not sure. Things like that is super helpful. Obviously, forums are there for you to help. I got my start in Umbraco by just posting all the stupid questions I had in my head about how do we do this, and well, it was also XSLT based at the time, so yeah, it was hard. But yes, I've just asked questions, and at some point I saw I could answer some questions. I'm like, oh, that's quite nice. So I'll help this guy out, and then from that leads to other things. Suddenly I was on a stage presenting in front of 200 people in Belgium about stuff in Razor, and I don't know how I got there, but might be good for your career. I eventually got hired by Umbraco, so it helps. Translations are nice. Linda, thank you very much. Was Linda right? Yeah. Dutch translations were just fixed yesterday, and there were a really good couple of changes in there. I'm Dutch, by the way. I'm not Danish, just so you know. I could actually review this issue, unlike Emma, who was like, oh, Dutch is great. Looks cool. Obviously, packages. Who has made a package in this room? That's actually really impressive. We're working on making the experience for package developers better. We're not actively working on it, but we're thinking about how to work on it soon. So hopefully that will be a nicer experience soon. Feature requests. I don't know where there's a star there. Feature requests. Cool. If you're not familiar with C#, maybe you can do some documentation. I know a lot of you have actually contributed to the documentation, saying, oh, this is totally wrong, or this is completely missing. Things like CSS, JavaScript, HTML, that's always very nice. One of the recent pull requests was setting autocomplete to off in the password field, which actually helps a lot, because then the next time you install Umbraco, you don't immediately show your password on screen. Translations, I think I mentioned that already. Cool. And then I'm reading this book by V.M. Brazier. I don't know how to pronounce that. She's American. Forge Your Future with Open Source. I can recommend this book. And she's listed a lot of other things that you might be able to do. So if you're a UX designer, if you're good at marketing, if you're good at security, you can all help out with that, and we're very open to any contributions in that regard as well. Yep. Code contributions. That's what I'm going to talk about for the rest of this. I've already asked. A lot of you have sent pull requests already. Has anybody who has not ever cloned the Umbraco source code? You've all done it? All right, I'm done. If you need inspiration for helping us out, my inspiration always came from things that annoyed me or that were slightly wrong in Umbraco. But if you just want to randomly fix things or see things that are broken and go, oh yeah, I actually had that problem as well, head over to the GitHub issues page and find the help wanted tag. We try to tag as many things as possible when issues come in. Obviously, Hacktoberfest has knocked down all of them right now, so actually Umbraco is currently quite perfect. I'm sure you'll find some new stuff though. Luckily, we have this V8 thing coming, so there's plenty of bugs there. So there's two things you can fix or do: is a bug fix or a feature, an actual feature. Bug fixes usually are quite small and actually just a little thing that's just wrong, right? Once you start working on it, please make sure that you comment on the issue or, on the issue, saying I'm working on it so that someone else doesn't pick it up. I actually had 3 pull requests about the exact same issue in 4 hours a few weeks ago, and like, what? All these 3 people found the same issue at the same time and started working on it. The first one didn't say I'm working on it, so the other ones didn't see that it was already pull requests for it. So I don't want to waste your time. It was you, exactly. No, that's all right. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. We're very happy to answer anything before you start actually working on it. Again, we don't want to waste your time. So if you're not sure where it should head, then just let us know, and we'll try our best to help you out. Things like what should it look like if you're like making something visual, how should it behave, if I do X, suddenly I'm working on this, I do X and something strange at Y happens, is that normal? And maybe that's another bug. Things like that, we're really happy to hear about that. If you wanted to start to work on a bigger feature, best not to start, most of the time it's best not to start before you ask us if we actually want the feature in Umbraco. Sometimes we've already discussed it and went, no, we don't need that. Sometimes we feel like it might be a great feature, but it might need a lot of testing, and maybe it's better to wrap it up in a package first and see if we can get some real users using whatever brilliant feature you've thought up. If there's no HQ guidance available yet, you could start with at least describing the feature that you're planning to implement, and then ask for confirmation from us, for some guidance from us, so we can help you get it over the finish line at some point. Yep, if we're happy with what you're planning to do, then make sure that again you comment that you're working on it, else someone else might be doing it again. And I would recommend, if you're working on something larger that's going to take a bit of time, start the pull request early once you have some proof of concept code. We won't judge you. Our code is also interesting sometimes, so we won't judge you, and we'll be able to follow along and say, oh, this is going that way. We don't really want it like that, so we'll be able to guide you with that. Cool. I'm going through this really quickly. Nice. Cool. Okay, so if you've never worked with the CMS code base before, it's really easy to actually start working on it. You fork it, you clone it, you build it, you run it, send a PR, and you're done. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah? Okay. Maybe what does it look like? Oh, my internet should work. Yay. So forking Umbraco. On the top right in your GitHub account, there's a fork button. You can get a copy of the Umbraco source code into your GitHub account. It takes a few seconds, and when that's done, you can move on to the next one. You'll see over here that the Umbraco CMS source code lives in your repository now. Then, it's going to play again, isn't it? Oh no, yeah, it is. Next. I'm really good at YouTube. There we go. Next, you can clone it to your local machine with your favorite Git tool. I'm using GitHub's actual, I don't know what you call it, GitHub desktop here. Cloning takes a while. It's a bit of a big repo, so I've made some cuts in this video. And then you can see you have the full history of Umbraco on your local machine. Really good at this this YouTube thing. Boom. Cool. Then, the most crucial part. We need to build Umbraco. There's two parts to it. One of them is Visual Studio, and that should be really easy. Hit F5, get it running. That's great. The other part is all of the back office. All of the back office stuff, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, needs to be running through. NPM, node, gulp, buzzword, lint, less. You love it, Seth. Thank you. So it needs to build. It needs to build, and it's a bit tricky to get all that set up correctly, and sometimes it doesn't work. But that's okay. We have a build PowerShell script that you can run. So it's in the build folder. Go to your command line, ask for PowerShell to build the build PS1. And it will try and do all of this for you. So it will try and set up all of your node and your NPM and your gulp and everything correctly, so it will actually build stuff. This takes a really short time in this video. In real life, it's going to take you about 10 minutes for this to work from a fresh copy. Pro tip, if you want to work on V7 and V8 at the same time, or at different times, but if you want to work on each one of them, clone Umbraco in 2 different folders. The build output from V8 is going to interfere with the build output from V7 if you switch branches back from V8 to V7. So just make 2 folders, 2 clones, all good. Then you should be able to see this wonderful screen at the end. Once you run Umbraco from Visual Studio, hit F5. It's just a normal website. It will start Umbraco as a normal website that you normally install. So it looks exactly like what you would see from a NuGet install of Umbraco itself. This screen should look like this and not like a big white screen with an error message on it. If you get the error message on it, then you need to do some more gulping or noding or npming. Install Umbraco like you normally would. Don't need to set up a database. It will install as SQL CE by default, and then it's easy to work on it. You may install a database if you want to, but I don't think I've done it. This laptop is 2 years old. There's no SQL databases on this one, so it's not necessary. Oh, YouTube, it's great. Next, there you go. Finally, you can make your changes in the code that you wanted to, and send us a PR. This part is important. Once you start working on changes, make sure to make a branch where you're going to put your changes. This is going to help you if you wanted to make multiple PRs later. If you just start committing to the dev branch that you get by default, you'll have to delete everything and clone it again, because you will have polluted your environment and cannot send another pull request until you do this. So make a branch. That's where you commit your changes. Then you can switch back to dev v7, the default branch, make some more changes, make a branch, commit there, and so on and so on. OK, making a branch, committing my changes, test in the README file. It's going to be awesome. Once you hit the push publish button there, and it's called publish in GitHub. OK, of course, in Git it's just called push. Once it's been pushed, let's skip the part here. GitHub will pop up with a big banner here saying, "Hey, you've pushed a new branch to your repository. Do you want to compare it to the current branch and make a pull request out of it?" And yes, we want to do that. You'll get a nice template asking a few questions. Actually, the questions have been reduced recently. You're not required to make an issue for a PR anymore, which is nice. So pull requests are going to be showing up as issues in the release notes as well. So we don't have to make a separate issue where we exactly repeat the text that we already put in the pull request. So that's great. Give it a title, give it some description, tell us how to test it, what did you do, why did you do it, and then we can start looking at it. Please don't merge. OK, that's clear. Closed. When you make a new pull request, our continuous build server starts running. So we have AppVeyor running, and we're moving that to VSTS, which is now Azure DevOps soon. I have one problem in there, is that the build output is not allowed to be created by an anonymous user. I need to talk to Microsoft about this, because otherwise it works really well. So it will start running tests. I think I have a slide. Yeah. The build server will kick in, make sure that the code that you've put in builds correctly. We can make a build output. We run all the unit tests to make sure that you didn't break anything by accident. This takes forever. So what we do in Umbraco when we create a unit test is we start Umbraco, we set up a database, a new SQL CE database, fill it with data, do the one test, delete the database again, because we don't want results from the previous test to be affecting the next test. So we have to do that all the time. Setting up a database takes a long time. So the whole test suite takes about 25 minutes to run, which is annoying, but here we are. It works. Eventually, it generates the zip and NuGet packages that we would publish on our Umbraco anyway. So you could even test the output results. So if you've made any changes to the NuGet setup, you could actually do a NuGet install into your local machine and test that out as well. Cool. In-depth contribution guidelines. If you go to our Umbraco, the contribute button will take you to GitHub. It's a very long text, and at the end of the text it says advanced. And if you want to read some more text, then the advanced section will tell you all about how to keep your branches in sync and things like that. It's really very dense, so good luck. Team Umbraco. I've been playing with this name for a while. We have a pull request team, which is a few people who are helping us on a voluntary basis, and we have a documentation curators team who are helping us. And I've been trying to find a name to put them all both in. It's Team Umbraco right now. I don't have a superhero sample yet. Damn it. Imagine superhero sample. So I've mentioned the CMS people already. On the documentation side, we have Damien. Jevon is here, right? Jevon? Thank you, Jevon. Jesper is our colleague who's helping us. Mark, is Mark here today? No, I don't think I've seen him. And Sophie is leading that team. They're amazing. They're helping us a lot. They've committed their time to making sure that the people who send us a pull request get a response quite quickly. If only it's just a thank you. We've seen what you've done. It's great. Or no, not even great. We don't know. But thank you for what you've done. We'll see what the next step is. Then they reproduce bugs. They reproduce, help us reproduce the fix that people have made. Like, I don't see the difference. What's going on? Maybe. And they will try and reply to your PR with their thoughts. If that comes through and everything has been approved, they let me know and they go, oh, I think this looks good. Do we want to merge it? Then feel free. I've tested all of it. I'll go in again and test whatever is going on. I'll look at the code and think of things to break it. I'm really good at trying to break things, so it's really great. I actually should get Warren on the team. He's even better at it. And for the documentation team, they verify the incoming documentation, so what's been described actually works the way it's been described. They are not special. They are special in our hearts, but they are not special people. You all can do this as well. If you want to help, you don't really know where to start, you can actually help by just looking at the list of pull requests coming in and go, I can test that. I can see if I can make it break. If we need more people who can try and make it break. That's the best part. It's very much appreciated. Again, it will be putting you on the map. It will put you on our radar. It's like, oh yeah, this person has been helping out a lot. It's been really great. So yeah, if you want to, then please do so, and don't feel like you're not part of a team or anything. You all can do this. This team will eventually start growing, so if you are very visible, then we might actually invite you on, make you feel extra special in our hearts. The end result. Oh, it's not loading. So, how am I going to do this? Oh, it is. No, that's the next one. Hang on. So, I'll explain first. So, a few years ago at Code Garden, Jen over here, Jens Kogord, made his first pull request to Umbraco after I had been honest as, no, that came out wrong. I've been beating his face. I don't know. I've been telling him, come on, dude, you can do it. You're a great dev, and you know what you're doing. And he's like, okay, I'll make a pull request, but I want to sit next to you, Seb. I want to make sure that I do it right. So he did, and let me see if I can reload this in. It's going to be very interesting. Is it going to scroll back to that? No, maybe not. All right. So he sat next to me. Niels was filming this. I accepted his pull request, and he saw the camera and he went, yes, I did it, while I was waiting there with my hand to give him a high five, because that's what you do when someone sends you a pull request. So yeah, that was slightly weird. Then Emma did sort of the same thing last year, and I asked her to also look at the camera and leave me hanging. And then, yeah, we were at Code Cabin. The original one is still playing down here. So Jen is still going there, and yeah. Then we were at Code Cabin a few weeks ago, and there was two people who sent us a pull request, Jen and Emma at the same time, actually. And I accepted them. And of course, they left me hanging. The original two GIFs are still playing down there. I'm not sure we can go much further in this GIF inception. The message here being, after your pull request has been received and accepted, you should feel like that. And if I'm near you, I will send you a high five, or I'll give you a high five. That was my talk. I'll be like Pete and say, you can talk to me in the bar later and buy me a drink. After I did this talk in